How you doing today? We're here with Dr. Stan Harris, Dr. Breakthrough. How you doing today?
Man, I'm so blessed and highly favored, just like you. Too blessed to be depressed, too blessed to be stressed, too glad to be sad, too anointed to be disappointed. I'm too elated to be agitated, too legit to quit, too grounded to be confounded, too grateful to be hateful, too gifted to be restricted, too good to be withstood, and too saved not to be getting paid. Business is booming, checks are zooming, and I'm happy to be here with Coach Michael.
That's why they call you Dr. Breakthrough. I'm going to go over a little bit about him. I'm going to give you a little bit. I got to read it because it's a lot. I'm not going to give you all because I'll go on for hours. So he's one of less than 100 people that has obtained the highest honors of the 10th degree black belt. Bad dude, don't mess with him, tell you that. He's made it into the Speaker Hall of Fame, the Black Belt Hall of Fame. He's spoken in all 50 states, 27 countries. He's made up to $47,000 in 1 hour for speaking. College professor with a doctorate in divinity and a PhD in martial arts. And hey, let's get to know him a little better himself because I go on for hours and hours about it. This is the heavy hitter right here.
Hey, but I like to say, Coach Michael, if you can spot it, it's because you got it. Come on.
You come with some good stuff. So what's going on today? Let's talk about breakthrough.
Man, just enjoying. I call this TGIM times 7. That stands for Thank God It's a Marvelous Manifesting Motivational Mindset Marketing Money Making Monday. And so I tell people there's always two sides to every coin. So what a lot of employees, to them is like, oh man, they got to drag in it's Monday. But if you learn to flip the script, it's like, first of all, I woke up today. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm happy. I'm excited. And so I got something to be excited about. But then, my friend, not only that, as a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and give you a stat real quick. As of today, it's my 23,461st day on God's wake-up list. I tell people, we go to sleep, God wakes us up. Now, my beautiful, brilliant mom only had 18,065 days. So my good friend Les Brown says every day above ground is a good day. And I had COVID a couple years ago. It was in ICU for 12 days there. And thank God for a praying wife and folks that prayed for me. And finally, I was able to get up. But I found the average person takes about 20,000 breaths per day. I started counting my breaths. So as of today, again, early in the morning, I wake up. I thank God for the day. And then I thank God for also, as of today, I've had approximately now 469,140,000 free breaths, each one a free gift from God, and the government hasn't figured out how to tax me on it.
Just wait. Don't say it too loud. Don't say that too loud.
Okay. But man, now I'm excited about life, man. I found out there's a choice. And when I found out I have the power to choose, I decided to choose to be happy. Abraham Lincoln said it best. He said, most people are about as happy as they make up their mind to be. I was 17 when I read that. I was like, wait a minute, you mean I got a choice? I was like, okay, from now on, I choose to be happy. Even if I'm got to be miserable, I'm going to be happy that misery don't last always. As a matter of fact, my acronym for STORM, STORM, somebody might want to write this down. It stands for something that only remains momentarily. Oh, come on, let me say it again. STORM, something that only remains momentarily. But you know what, Michael, Coach Michael, I meet a lot of people, they've been in the storm a long time because they keep cursing it, they keep nursing it, they keep rehearsing it. But I teach people, give it to God and let him reverse it. Come on now. And so I'm excited. On this Monday, TGIM, again, thank God it's a marvelous, manifesting, motivational, marketing, money-making Monday. And I have strategies that pay me every Monday, by the way. And we have another one we're launching that pays every day throughout the day. And so money day is Monday with me now.
So I tell everybody, I was like, look, you know, people when that saying says, I got the Mondays. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because, okay, so it was Tuesday and Monday you had the all day off. Well, Tuesday you had the Tuesdays. I mean, every day you should look at it exactly the same. You got to wake up, you got to go, you have the day to make it whatever you want. Because whatever happened yesterday is over. You can either learn and grow from it or you can drag it along. And I'm not dragging it along. I'm leaving it. One thing I drag along with me is a solution and a result.
Come on. Hey, by the way, Friday, people say TGIF. Well, to me, TGIF stands for Thank God I'm Favored, not just on Friday, but 24/7, just like you. So it's like I said, it's all about a decision and perspective, right? And again, I had to learn and grow to the place, but I'm telling you, it sure feels a whole lot better. By the way, every day I brainwash myself, because see, your brain gets dirty by all the stuff we're around. So I got to brainwash myself, and every day I say everything good that can happen will happen, and it will happen at the best possible time, even if I don't recognize it at that time, and I usually don't.
Do you think everything has do you think everything happens for a reason? I mean, do you think, okay, so this happened because of this, or this happened because of that, or it's destined, it's going to happen anyway?
Well, there's things that happen for a reason. Some things I think that we have the deciding factor. See, there's some things that are deciding factors, contributing factors, but we are the only deciding factor. So the contributing factors, the weather, the different things that happen, that's out of my hands. But the deciding factor is how I respond to it, right? And how my perspective on it. Because again, there's two sides to every coin. Like some people say, oh man, it's raining. I'm like, yeah, thank God for the rain. Somebody somewhere had to have the rain. And I don't even call it rain. I call it showers of blessings. So again, it's all based on perspective. And you get a chance, the power of choice. That's the most powerful thing we have. And my life was messed up when I kept mixing up and I kept giving deciding factor power to things that were meant to be nothing more than attributing factors. Matter of fact, like for instance, people say stuff like this: "Oh, you just ruined my day." Oh, you can't ruin my day. Listen. God gave me the power of free choice. If He made Adam and Eve and said, "Look, I'll give you the power to choose," now they took that power and chose against Him. If Adam and Eve could do that, then if they chose against the God that gave them the power to make the choice, why'd you got to give in to everybody else? So I tell people, stop giving your power away. Stop using language. Stop doing that. Learn to understand that, again, there's contributing factors. So you can do something to make it easy for me to have a bad day if I give into it. But ultimately, if I have a bad day, it's because I gave into that. So I'm not giving you the power. No, you can't ruin my day. You might make it harder for me to have a good day, but you can't ruin my day. Why? Because I am the only deciding. God's not even the deciding factor because He gave me a free will. That one thing alone gave me such a powerful breakthrough. And somebody today, right now, is having a breakthrough. You're going to stop saying what people did to you and all that kind of stuff. And man, no, they don't have that much power unless you give it to them. And why are you forfeiting your own power and giving it to somebody else that may not have your best of interests in mind? And that's why I tell people too, don't let people live in your head, rent free. No, I'm not doing that. So I have control. I get a choice. So I decide. And so I get to speak every day. I speak over my life. I speak what I want for that day. Now, I didn't always do that. Matter of fact, I talk about one of my books, and Your Breakthrough is Guaranteed, 7 Simple Steps to Your Success. I talk about how I was driving from a meeting one day and I pulled over the highway. Now, Coach Michael, think about this. People are looking like, I get out of my car, go around to the passenger door, open up the door, and I scream at the top of my voice, "Get out!" I kicked Murphy out of my car. I was living by Murphy's Law. I said, I don't know who Murphy is. I don't like his law. I don't like the respect. So that's when I decided to come up with my own law, the Dr. Breakthrough Law. Everything good that can happen will happen. It'll happen at the best possible time, even though I may not recognize it at that time. And so the good book says all things work together. So sometimes individually, things don't taste good. Like if you're baking a cake, the flour may not taste good. But when you put everything together and bake it, so sometimes it's when other things happen. And so there's things that happen in our life that seems like it's bad right then. But when this and this and this and this and this, and all of a sudden, and in hindsight, they say it's 2020, right? Now we see how, although that thing seemed like it was bad, it really motivated me to do something good. So I always say this, and I'll turn it to you. Pain and adversity causes some men and women to break. Mm-hmm. It causes others to break bad, right? They got a terrible attitude, man at the world. Then it causes others to break records. I decided to be a record breaker. So I allowed my pain to push me to prosperity.
Yeah, see, like this, like amazing. Like I say, like you said, like you don't let somebody ruin your day or have somebody control your day. I call it moments. So we have 24 hours a day. So you got 24 moments. So if somebody makes you mad at, let's say 10 o'clock in the morning, by 11 o'clock, you need to get rid of it. I mean, these people say, "Oh, that ruined my day." No, that didn't ruin your day. You're gonna let that ruin your day. The other day I was talking at a summit, and I said, I was listening to everybody speaking. I completely just dropped my talk and I said, "No, I'm gonna talk about something completely different." After listening to this, I got to talk about something different. I said, people say, it breaks them. They get to their knees, it breaks them, something like this or something like that. Or, somebody died and it stopped me in my tracks. And I said, look, life doesn't stop. Life doesn't stop for you. It's going to keep passing you by if you let it. I said, but you got to think about this. I have a story. I've been through some medical stuff that I shouldn't be sitting here talking to you. But every time somebody has something that they went through in life and they went through the hardest time and they came through it, stop for a second and think, I just got through all that, and I'm going to let this little thing stop me? I'm going to let this little thing break me when I just got through all that? Am I crazy? No way. Most people have been through the hardest time in life already. You got to look at it like that. Now it's all uphill. Keep moving up.
The best is yet to come. Come on now.
Yes. I mean, there's so many times I hear people saying like, oh, this is the biggest thing. We're all built differently, or this, that. I was like, no, let me tell you something. Everybody can be retweeted. Your mind only knows what you teach it and what you tell it. I stress that more than anything. Only thing your mind knows is what you give it.
Wait. Say that one again. Say that one again. The mind only knows what? Your
mind only knows what you teach it and what you tell it. Nothing else. So if you teach it negativity, you wake up in the morning with negativity or problems. They say that depression is depression because it's problems. You carry around problems. You have problems. You think about problems. You have problems. That's depression.
Oh, wait. On that note, think about this for a minute. Wait. On that note, I want everybody, if you're listening out there, take something to write on or something to write with. Come on, Michael, if you don't mind, do this with. I used to be a college professor, so that teach thing is still in me, right? And so if you write down depression, DEPRESSION, right? The same word depression, if you rearrange the letters and you rearrange it to say I pressed on. Same letters. See, same thing, perspective. One, depression, the other, I pressed on. And what I love about what you're doing, Michael, is Coach Michael, your shows, you're empowering people like they might be in a hopeless state right now, but if they hear this powerful talk that we're doing in this conversation, those are the things that help lift people's spirit and help them just to go another day, just to press on a little bit more. And so I like to say, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, and the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. If care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is strange with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. Many a struggler turns about. Well, they might have one that they stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out. The silver tint of the cloud of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. Victory may be near, though it seems afar. So stick to the fight. When your heart is hit, is when things seem worse, that you just mustn't quit. And right before you get your undeniable breakthrough, you go through an overwhelming breakdown. See, unless the corn of wheat fall on the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, and so you're talking about that powerful thing, depression, and some people don't even understand it. I talk about in my book, and I help some people. People call me, they're depressed. I said, stop right now. Go get 3 glasses of water. Call me back 15 minutes later. I said, excuse me, go drink 3 glasses of water. Come back, call me back 15 minutes. And they're like, man, that's like miraculous. I said, no, it's not. If your car is running low on gas and it runs out of gas, it's going to stop if you put gas in. It's not miraculous if it runs again. And most of us, we become dehydrated, right? We're not drinking enough water, number one. And number two, people are drinking things that are dehydrating them, right? And so all you did in the first thing in the dehydration is the brain. You're 80 to 85% water. Your brain's up to 90%. And so when your brain, when it doesn't have the fluid, the neurotransmitters, they don't work properly. They cling together, and it literally drops you into depression. So I'm not talking about clinical depression. I'm just telling you, 8 out of 9 people that call me, and they do this, it's like magic. They're like, I can't believe that. I was like, no, you just gave your brain what it needed, some hydration, right? And especially when you go to sleep and you wake up, you think about it, you breathe in, you inhale, you exhale. If you stand in front of a mirror, there's mist, right? Why? Because every time you exhale, there's water, there's moisture coming out. So you sleep all night. The first thing I do in the morning before I even get up out of bed is I have the water right beside the drink. First thing, matter of fact, I actually drink 3 of these in the morning. First thing when I get up. Now it's better to sip throughout the day, and I don't mean to turn this into a whole water thing, but I just want to get on that. Let me be quiet and let you get back to you.
Like you said, dehydration, and people don't realize, I think it's like 77% of the water in your body. That's what it takes to have cognitive thinking. So if you're dehydrated, you don't have enough water, you can't even your thinking process is off. Your thinking process is off. Your mind's off. Your mind's off. Then you start falling into the dark area. Now this is gonna be a little controversial. Clinical depression, I think it's crock. I think pretty much. I think nowadays they have to put a title on everything. Like,
right.
Oh, you're this, you're that, you're that. I'm like, no, stop thinking you're that. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to that outside world. You are who you are. Tell you, I'm great. I'm not depressed. I'm not threatened. That's going to be how it's going to be. Like I said, what you tell them, teach your mind. That's the only thing it knows. Then now all of a sudden they're throwing this pill in there and they're telling you, oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm depressed. I'm depressed. I'm depressed. No, you're not. Suck it up. Stop thinking about that. Look, the thing I think people need to realize in life is things are going to happen in life. It's not if, it's when. We're all going to have struggles. Whether somebody dies, whether we lose a job, get in a wreck, something is always going to happen.
Yes,
you got to know that. Because when you can't think life is always sunshine and roses, because it's not. It's not a perfect world. But a lot of people think that, and then when it hits them, they don't know what to do. It breaks them, and I call it a speed bump effect. Like when you come up to a speed bump on the road, do you stop and get out the car and wait for that speed bump to get out the way? I hope not, because I don't.
No, wait, Michael. Here's what some people do. They don't do this in their car, but they do this in life. Ready? So, like you said, that speed bump, they stop, get out the car, fall on the ground. Life is just against me. I'm never gonna be anything. And you're like, dude, get back in the car and just drive.
I'm like, come on, hurry up, get a car. If you not got somewhere to go. That's exactly right. I mean, it's like you got it. When somebody dies, look, I'm not saying don't have feelings, because look, somebody dies, it's sad. It is sad. We're human beings. We're gonna have emotions. But somebody dying can't break you and stop you in life, because life's gonna keep on passing you by while you're sitting there.
Well, it can if you tell it. Right. Mm-hmm. Say that statement you said again earlier about the brain.
Yeah, mind only knows what it thinks, what you think and teach it.
Exactly.
I mean, what your mind only knows what you tell and teach it.
Exactly. So if you telling it, I'll never make it out of this, then you created a situation where your brain's just going to give up. And you know what I mean? Like you said, it doesn't have to be that way. But that's why I'm so big on declarations and speaking over my life every day. Mm-hmm. Why? Because like I said, you can speak life or you can speak death, and I want to speak life. And especially if you don't have anybody speak life over you, speak life over yourself, right? Exactly. Speak life over your day, speak life over your, and like you said, you got to. Matter of fact, one of a whole training series I have is called Mental Self-Defense. Learning how to defend yourself against your greatest opponent, which is your undisciplined or subconscious mind. As a matter of fact, I teach people how to take your greatest enemy and turn into your greatest ally. Because before I understood these principles, you're a child, well, you dumb kid, you never amount to be anything, and people can say all kind of negative stuff. But after a while, you know what happened, Coach? I was doing it to myself. I didn't even need them around anymore. I was like my worst enemy, right? And it was what I was saying to myself, and it became self-fulfilling prophecies. And I had to learn to break that. And so as a martial artist, I teach people, as a young child, when I got tarred and feathered and beat up by a teenage gang, left me out in the middle of the field to die. I was just a little 6-year-old boy, but because of that, it made me, I was like, I got to learn how to protect myself. I got started in martial arts. Well, when I go through and tell my story, I'm like, look, I don't need y'all feeling sorry for me, for everybody out there. You are being jumped and ganged and beat up, and it's the bullies in your brain. And by the way, the breakthrough occurs, you beat the bullies on your brain. The bully of low esteem, the bully of I'm not enough, the bully of comparison, the bully of procrastination, all those bullies in their mind, and it's beating us up that you got to get free. And the greatest book ever written says you're transformed by the renewing of your mind. And again, one scripture, Napoleon Hill wrote a whole book on it that's produced more millionaires. Think and Grow Rich.
I just had Emerson on the last episode. Emerson was on the last episode, the one that made the movie. Emerson Willis. He made the movie. He was part of the production of Think and Grow Rich movie.
Right. So again, so as a man or as a woman or as a child thinketh. And so, you know, my wife says, baby, you're the most confident person I know. I was like, you should have seen me many years ago. I wasn't. She didn't believe me because she couldn't relate to that. So she's very quiet, right? So she's like, baby, I didn't want to tell you this, but I would just smile and listen when you would tell me, but inside I'd be like, he lying. There's no way in the world. Until guess what? A couple of years back, I was speaking in Atlanta, Georgia. And the guy that when I first started in martial arts 49 years ago, he was like my hero, right? And we lost contact for like 40 years, and finally got reconnected, found out he was in Atlanta, let him know I'm coming to speak down there. So he came down and I'm in the back speaking. I'm speaking. He's in the back. He came a little late, him and his girlfriend. And literally, you can hear him in the back about every 5 minutes. I can't believe this. I can't believe it. He said, I can't believe it. And after we were done, we were talking. So he told his girlfriend, he said, we knew this guy could talk. We never even heard him say a word. It's like, I'm sitting there like, how is he speaking like this? There is no way possible. I was shocked out of my mind. And my wife said, then she finally believed me. And so that's why I love what I do and what you get to do, because I tell people I didn't have any confidence in myself. Now, one of the things that'll help me to get confident is to get competent at something. So when I got started in the martial arts and worked out 4 hours on Monday and 4 hours, now everybody don't have to do it like this, but I needed it a lot, right? So 4 hours on Tuesday and Wednesday and 4 hours on Thursday and 4 hours on Friday, and Saturday we travel out of town fighting tournaments and so forth. And, by the time I got to, green belt and brown belt and all that, and finally black belt and first degree. So my confidence started raising, and I'm breaking boards and bricks and laying on nails. And my confidence kept. So with competence comes confidence. Mm-hmm. But before that, people would tell me, I think you could do that. I was like, no, I can't. But you know what? Because I didn't want to let them down, I gave it a shot. And sometimes it worked, and I was shocked. Yeah. And so then one day, finally, I was like, wait a minute, why don't I just go ahead and believe in myself? So I tell people, you might be like I was. And if you don't, I'm here. I'm like a debtor. And I've been all 50 states, 28 countries. And now through Zoom, we get to do but I get to tell people, look, I believe in you. I believe. You say you don't even know me. Yeah, some people, they hate me. They don't know me just because of the color of my skin. So if they're crazy enough to hate me, they don't even know me, then I'm crazy enough to like you, believe in you, and I don't even know you. But I know somebody believed in me when I didn't believe in me, and now I want to believe in you. And you can use my belief, Coach Michael's belief, like training wheels until your own belief kicks in. But here's what I'm saying, my friend. But on the higher level, to me, spiritually, Proverbs 3:26 says, the Lord shall be thy confidence. And so it's kind of like something that's electric, right? Like this thing right here, this speaker, maybe not much, but once I plug this into the electricity going through it. And I'm telling you something, my friend, you don't have to be much. But when you plug into God's power and his power goes through you, and that's what my newest book is all about, by the way, Kingdompreneur, The Art of Doing Business God's Way with God's Richest Blessings, where instead of me having to be smart and all that kind of stuff and sharp, I just have to be surrendered, let his power flow through me, and magnificent things happen. And so one day it dawned on me, if God's perfect, and if he knows all my faults, and he still believes in me, like if he believes in me, why do I not believe in myself? And but I'm telling you, when you start getting that Godfidence, I'm calling it confidence, but I call it Godfidence because he calls me an overcomer. He calls me a conqueror. And I learned to just believe in what he said instead of what I was feeling, what they told me. I mean, the reason I was so down and out was because I was listening to what they told me that was all negative. So if I can listen to that, why can't I listen to somebody's telling me something that I'm positive? And so I had these powerful I am statements that have changed my life, And so anyway, but that's going to be a new book that'll come out. Godfidence, right? The power. I mean, you can have no confidence, low confidence, lying confidence, but if you have Godfidence, come on, somebody, nothing can stop you.
All right, quick question. All right, let me see what I want to go back to.
I'm gonna try to give a quick answer. No, I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna do it.
And see that I was just about to say that word try. People use that word try. Try.
Yeah, the word try, TRY. My acronym is Talking Real Yucky. Try, TRY, the real yo-yo. Because when you say try, that means your mind now has an excuse if it doesn't work. So instead of the word try, the lowest you could use is the word attempt, but I like to say commit, because if I commit now, I'm going to make it happen, right? Mm-hmm. So when I started saying that and I saw the look in your eyes, I was like, oh, I better change that.
Yeah, because it's like try. Because try is like, okay, when I tell people, they're like, I'm trying to quit smoking. No, you're not. Stop lying to yourself. You're just not ready to quit smoking yet. Trying, don't try. Do it. You're trying means you're not putting forth everything. You're doing it half-assed, and you're trying to get it. Yeah, all right. You're not putting forth everything. You don't want it. That's bad. You don't want it bad enough.
Hey, I was speaking in Canada years ago, and I took out $100 bill and I threw it down. I said, now the first one that tries to pick it up can have it. Man, they were jumping. And I was like, stop. First of all, I thought Canadians were reserved and all. I was like, listen, let me try it again. Give me my money. But I said, listen to me now. And I said, now the first one that tries to pick this up can have it. And I threw it and they went, I said, no, stop. And so I had to demonstrate to them. I said, no, I said, try. So to try to pick up the $100 bills, like to do like this, but y'all was committed. I said, now if y'all will commit to life like you just committed to going after that 100, then you can really have it. They's like, oh, I was like, Canadian, you got it.
It's like saying, like, like they have, like, let's say, like an addict or alcoholic or anything like that. How much effort they put towards getting that? If they took that effort they have there and put it somewhere else, it's right. But I mean, that's a whole different ball game. But like what were you saying about the I don't forget.
Well, while you're thinking about that, like I tell people, like discipline, like for instance, excuses are the tools of incompetence used to build mountains of nothingness, and those that subscribe to them seldom amount to anything. So I used to make excuses. I was so good, Coach. I believe my own excuses. I was in what I call denial. DENIAL, and that stands for, matter of fact, it's one of my books here. Don't even notice I am lying. Now it's bad when you're lying, but it's another thing when you're lying and you don't even notice you're lying, right? And one day it dawned on me, why am I fighting for my excuses, right? And making excuses because I heard somebody say you're either gonna make money or make excuses. You can't make both. And so the same energy, though, like you were saying, that it took to make the energy, I just shifted and started making. Instead of making excuses, I started making progress. Yeah. And so again, you can make an excuse and it makes today easier, but tomorrow harder, or you can use self-discipline and it makes today harder, but it makes tomorrow easier. And so I decided to do that. Did your thought come back to you yet? I was trying to stir.
Okay, so what I'm thinking, like, okay, so a lot of people with these breakthroughs and we're trying to get forward and trying to get that. My biggest thing is I noticed especially lately, you got to stop listening to the outside peanut gallery. Because if nobody realizes this, if y'all out there that there's naive people that don't believe this, but no matter what you look at social media, no matter what you're looking at on TV, there is messages in there that you might not see that they're trying to get you to believe that message and trying to get you to go that way. They're trying to make everybody against each other. You got to stop all that. You got to think about for you, what's best for you and what's best to move forward. Not all this other peanut gallery crap, because it is destroying humankind. And the whole thing about race, there's one race. There's a human race. That's it. That's plain and simple.
Just different hues.
That's it. I mean, all this stuff that they're fighting over is it's not us that's fighting. They want us to fight. So stop listening to that. Come together. If you can help one person a day, and if it's with a smile, that's helping somebody. You might save somebody's life with that smile. You never know.
There you go. You remind me that what you just saying that reminds me of the little boy who was at the circus, and his dad said, "Which balloon would you like? I'll buy you a balloon." So I don't want that black one because I want something to go. He says, son, what are you talking about? So I want something that's going to go high. He says, son, it's not based on the color of the balloon. It's based on how much helium is on the inside. And that reminds me, years ago, I heard a poem that helped set me free. Fleecy locks and black complexion cannot forfeit nature's claim. Skin may differ, but affection dwells in black and white the same. Rise so tall as to reach the pole, the glance at the ocean at a span. I must be measured by my soul. The mind is the standard of a man. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, it's not the color of my skin, the texture of my hair, or where I grew up, but rather what I put in my head and in my heart. Matter of fact, I like to say what you put in your head that affects your heart determines what comes to your hand. And if you want more coming to your hand, you got to put more in your head that affects your heart. That's why I write my books. That's why I do the coaching. And that's what you're doing with the show here. And so again, I want to thank you for what you're doing, helping to make this world a better place. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's like, so I used to own a pottery place, like an import pottery place, and it was right in New Orleans. And, I kept seeing on the news about all this and this and that. And I'm like, I live in South Louisiana, New Orleans. It's supposed to be just horrible. All of us supposed to hate each other. And it's not. It's what they want you to think.
Come on.
Because so I said, you know what? I'm gonna prove to y'all. Watch this. I'm gonna ask every single person that comes through that door if they've ever experienced the stuff that they tell we still do with racism. Yeah, everybody has a little bit here or there, but not to the point where they portray it. And I asked every person for a straight week, and everybody said, one lady came through, she was an older black lady, 93 years old. She's like, you know, just the normal stuff that all of us deal with, but nothing like they show on this news. They need to stop listening to that. I said, exactly. They want you to hate each other. It makes them money. Hatred and war makes money. Prime example what's going on right now in the world. They want
and
war.
division allows you to control people. But I'm a person that's personally experienced a lot of prejudice and racism. And sometimes the racism is not white on black. Sometimes it's black on black, because a lot of, you know what I mean. But yeah, I've been stopped in my motorhome many times. The policeman just wanted to know whose motorhome I had. I'm like, what do you mean? and here's my son, one of them, but he would always sit in the front, and he's like, Dad, why do they keep stopping you like this? And I was like, well, because I'm trying to teach him respect for authority. And he's like, Dad, this is not, And I said, well, son, first of all, life is not fair, but God is, and everything will be made. But you just got to do, what you're gonna do. But yeah, I remember being little kids, man, and riding our bikes across the State Street Bridge and to the West Shore. And grown-ups come out. I remember I was 11, my brother 10, other brother 9, and they came out of the doors with baseball bats and crowbars, chasing us, calling us names. We were just like, we barely got away, right? And then we were thinking, okay, these white people treat us like that. Wait till next time we see a white guy, we're gonna beat him up, right? And we do. It's like it just keeps going back and forth like that. Somebody has to have enough to say, wait, right? There's good black folks and bad black folks. There's good white folks, bad. There's good and bad everything, right? so I'm not going to judge the whole based on So that's what prejudice means. Pre comes from two words: pre, which means before, and judgos, which means judge. So it means to come to a conclusion before the facts are in. And so if you just sit down and talk to people one on one, and like you said, instead of just listening to what you're seeing and hearing, then you're going to find out. A lot of people were shocked. They're like, "Oh man, like you were like so articulate." Like a lot of places I would show up, they were like, "Oh, I didn't know you was black." I was like, "Excuse me?" I was like, "Well, you didn't sound black." I was like, "I sound black. What does that mean?" You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I went to speak at a place that was down south, and it's not just south, by the way. There's a lot of stuff in north too, but again, it's based on people. So there's individual pockets, and there's circumstances and situations. But then again, a lot of times we haven't been taught. Like people haven't been trained. That's why I'm glad they eventually started Black History Week and then Black History Month. But right back to. But I ask people sometimes, I'm like, did you ever have a black teacher or no? Okay. Did you ever learn anything about the positive? Just like a lot of people are like, well, you black folks, y'all should be happy. You come a long way. I'm like, no, you don't understand. We didn't start off as slaves. We start off as being the first world rulers. I understand. But see, if you don't understand that, even trying to teach other folks that look like me, they were like, wait a minute, Doc, are you sure? And I'd have to show them. But I'm saying this, that there is some stuff that's systemic and some stuff. But a lot of people, when they meet individuals, we work as individuals, we see, wait a minute, that's not true about this person. Wait a minute, that. And so a lot of those misconceptions and stereotypes just keep reinforcing the division and all that kind of stuff. But we definitely, they wanted me, when I was a professor at a college, they wanted me to teach what they call Black history. I said, no, I'm going to call it the role of Blacks in American history, because what y'all call Black history, unfortunately, is American history that's been omitted and sometimes purposely omitted from the history books. Because there are some people that understand this, because when the imagery that you see, I mean, I speak for all kind of companies, and several companies now it's getting better now, of course it's 2025, but just even the other day, a company, they said, what do you think about, sent me their video, and I was like, bro, I see all these white images, so all my white friends going to feel very welcome here. Anybody else that's Hispanic, Black, Filipino, they're going to feel like they're almost tolerated. And they said, oh, we didn't even notice that. I was like, well, I understand that you didn't notice that, but that's because, but that's why, again, we need people that have different experiences that help bring stuff to the table. It's just like now it's National Women's History Month. A lot of people didn't know that, right? And so, if you don't understand the great contributions that women have done, there's still some men that have this lower thought process of women, because again, they haven't been educated. And I don't know why they feel that way. It's like, man, you came from a woman. You was trained probably by a woman, right? But anyway, but again, all this stuff, man, and even like entrepreneurs versus employees, sometimes entrepreneurs really bang against employees. And I say, look, blessed is the man and woman that does what they have to do until they can get to what they want to do. But if everybody was an entrepreneur, we wouldn't have anybody to sell to, right? So let everybody do what they do, man. And but that's just empower and educate. Let me just give your here's an illustration of what I do in life. And a lot of times in life, people's spark gets blown out, right? And every time and so what happens is sometimes they just like, man. And so I come along, and what we're talking about is when we can actually do this.
More people can do that.
Right? And that's the key. So what I say is I ignite and reignite a passion of people for life, for love, for the Lord, and for business. And sometimes, sometimes people have been so messed up, man. It's like they're trying. They're like, dog, it ain't nothing's happening. And they're like, it's just not. And so sometimes when I do illustration, I take water and I'll dip it in the water. And now the wick is wet and it just won't even light at all. Right. Yeah. And that's the way some people are. They're like, I'm trying, coach. I'm trying, doc. So I'm like, don't worry about it. And we just come along. But what I know is you give it a day or two and the wick will dry out and then it'll be back to it. But in the meantime, if you have to, let me jump you.
Yeah, exactly. I think right now, like the biggest things, like with like whole mind thing right now in the environment, especially right now, what we're going through. I think that, people need to have an open mind more often, because I think instead of looking at it, from the Democrat, the Republican side, whatever, you need to come into it with an open mind and say, okay, let me look at it, open, clear mind, and not just say, whoop, because you're missing all this over here that you're missing. You're seeing this and not this, and you're clouding your mind up to be over here, this hatred or whatever you're at. Everybody needs to be open to everything and come together. And that's it. Everybody needs to do. You come together as one, it'd be a different world instead of this hatred and this fight. Because if we keep doing what
the United States is supposed to be about, United States, right?
Exactly. But we keep going down the path we're going down. It's going to get so. You got to stop listening to the outside peanut gallery.
There you go.
It's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, and if we get back to being heart-centered, right? Instead of all this head stuff, the heart, your heart will tell you. You watch little children. Yeah, you know what I mean? They got it, but we get older. Yeah, you get older, we start getting these things, and you know what I mean? So, but again, that's why, continuing being educated, right, and empowered. Just like I always grew up, like this guy named B.F. Skinner was a great psychologist. He was half right, but mostly wrong. And he said, you're a product of your environment. Well, that can't be right, because Adam and Eve came up in the perfect environment and they messed up. But you got people who grew up in a bad environment and they did good. So the way I do it is, I say it this way: you're not necessarily a product of your environment around you, but rather you're a product of the environment of your mind, right? And so what you put in here, and then I went a step further. I'm no longer a product of my environment. I'm a product of my empowerment. So I'm constantly reading, constantly putting empowering things inside of my brain, right, to touch my heart. And it's amazing how the transformation will begin. And the sad thing, though, is sometimes people are addicted to information, but allergic to application and transformation. So the purpose for the information is so we can be transformed. And so
when I say like manifest, people look at me like, man, that's so. I said, let me tell you something. You think about manifest is like, I'm gonna think about $10,000 that's gonna fall in my hands. That's not manifestation. Right. Manifestation is putting it in your mind and you're thinking about it, and your mind is gonna start thinking about that more and more, and that's the only thing it's gonna see. And it's gonna do everything it can to get to where you want to go. That's manifestation. If you think positive and you think about what you want, that's what you're gonna get, because your mind goes, go that way. Don't go that way. Go that way.
Yeah, a great book I read years ago, Psycho-Cybernetics. And he talked about how they put together two basketball teams, and one just practiced in their mind, right? They just saw themselves dribbling down the court and shooting and making the shots. They saw the opposing team with the ball. Again, they every day closed with their eyes closed, and they're still in the ball or blocking the shot, versus the other team that actually physically practiced. When they put them together, they were just about equal, and sometimes the ones that practiced in their mind only had an edge. And the reason why is because when they practiced in their mind, every shot was perfect. Every time they were blocking, versus the ones that practice, if you miss a shot, you're like, oh, man, and that negativity you don't even realize what it's doing to you. And so that's what in martial arts, true meditation It's not like open up your mind to Buddha or something like that. No, true meditation is actually imagination and visualization. We would see ourselves in our matches, see ourselves, opponents striking at us, us blocking, parrying, striking back, whatever. And oftentimes doing that over and over and over again. And so what happens, the mind doesn't know the difference between that which is real and that which is vividly imagined. Now, that's the secret. It's got to be vividly imagined. As a matter of fact, again, I talk about in my book, you got to learn to visualize vividly and verbalize voraciously. And one day you'll actualize automatically, right? Because again, the body starts discharging that energy for you to manifest. That means make it happen. I'll prove it to you. You ever been sleep at night? You had a bad dream. You wake up.
I just did 2 days ago.
Right. So what happens is the body, it doesn't know the difference between that which is real, that which is imagined. The other day I was boom, hit. I was like, oh, my wife's like, oh my goodness, hit the backboard. Thought I was in a fight, right? So again, but like what you're saying to your point of manifestation, when you think about it over and over again, you say it over and over again, and you post it when you're seeing it, then the body will start to discharge that energy for you to actually do. And by the way, it'll also cause you, like the law of attraction, we say it's the law at action, right? It'll cause you to do certain things because true belief affects behavior, and the behavior then will dictate those things. But then what happens is when you do that, just like when I stack up boards or stack up bricks, I stack up 22 inches of cement blocks on fire and break them. I never break a board or brick until I first break it in my mind.
Yeah.
So I got to be, if I don't see it clearly, me doing it, then I'm not. So, because again, a building is built 3 times. A good life is built 3 times. That is first in the mind. Secondly, on paper, we call it blueprint. And then thirdly, now it's constructed from that. And so you got to do that with your own life, my friend. You got to use your imagination to see. We did it when we were children. They talked us out of it, right? We did that when we were children. We would imagine, I want to be this. No, you can't. But again, using your imagination. But then the visualization. Jim Rohn, I used to travel and speak with him. He's known as the foremost business philosopher. He's in heaven now. He's the guy that mentored Tony Robbins. But he talked about visualizing his house so much to where he almost could bump into. It's like, oops, he bumped into stuff, right? But if you can, so I put it together again. You got to visualize vividly, and then verbalize voraciously, and then one day you'll actualize automatically. And as you're talking, visualizing, doing these things, you'll meet somebody that can help you to get closer to that. And it's just amazing. And in one of my trainings, I put it this way: once I make up my mind to do something, God will orchestrate circumstances to align themselves in my favor. When I say I can't, my mind stops trying. But when I ask, how can I, my mind keeps searching till it finds a way. There's a way, and I will find it. And if not, by the grace of God, I'll just have to invent it. And therefore, we got the old saying, necessity is the mother of invention.
Mm-hmm. It's like, to like go to that part about, your mind, you tell yourself this, tell yourself that. So I actually experienced it. I got to watch like one of my dad's best friends sit there, and he got MS. And I tell this story a lot, but my dad's friend got MS, and right when he found out he had MS, he told himself he had MS. He said, I'm sick. And at the same time, I was going through, had just found out I had 5 blood clotting disorders. I have all 3 sarcoidosis. At that time, I had 13 pulmonary embolisms already. So one kills somebody every 33 seconds. And I'm over here doing the opposite. I'm like, I'm not slowing down. I'm not worried about this. This crap can't faze me. I'm gonna keep on moving. He's over here doing the opposite. I'm watching him die, and I'm over here doing the opposite. I'm just thriving. So that's when I knew right there, your mind is everything. Your mind is in control of everything. As soon as you start slowing down your mind's gonna start slowing down your body. And once it's done, it's done. And that's one of the biggest reasons I do what I do now, because I watch that, and I don't ever want to see anybody go through that.
Wow. I forget who it was, but I was reading somebody. They said some celebrity said their grandmother, like, instead of saying that I'm sick and whatever sickness will say, I'm in my healing process. I'm in my healing process.
I say growing pains.
Yeah, right. And you talk about manifestation. Now, I wrote a march, how to break through and manifest a marvelous march on purpose. I mean, I don't know, I'd love to give that to the folks if you think it's kind of spiritual on the spiritual part too. So I don't know, I don't want to choke anybody out,
I put what I do is after we're done, I put it in with the video, and they can download it.
Say it again.
I'm gonna put it in the post afterwards, and I put it in the comments and all that, and they can download it.
Okay. So I mean, is it okay if I go through it or no?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay, because again, we're talking about the power. We're talking about the power of the mind and manifestation, and this is how I'm manifesting. I mean, I wrote this again, manifesting, how to manifest a marvelous March on purpose. And already, again, the month just started, right? 3 days, and there's some amazing things that started manifesting already. And so, and again, like you said, part of that though is because I'm saying it, I'm seeing it, and now I'm taking action. That doors are now open. So I call this my declaration to manifest a marvelous March on purpose. And March, my acronym, I write acronyms. I love acronyms. And it stands for manifesting abundant riches, choosing hope. In my acronym, one of my acronyms for hope, by one of them is hold on, pain ends.
Say that again. Say March again. Do the March one again.
March is manifesting abundant riches, choosing hope. Now, at the end, I'll give you some other but March is manifesting abundant riches, choosing hope. So for March, the whole month, I've got it written over different places, and I'm saying this. I said this several times already today, and the reason I asked you, can I say it now, is it's going to bless somebody in your audience, but it's getting more to me too, right? Like Jim Rohn used to say, 2 things. He said, the audience is oftentimes changed by hearing a good speaker, but oftentimes the speaker themselves are changed when they listen to themselves, what they say, right? So faith cometh by hearing. So I want to hear it myself. So anyway, March, manifesting abundant riches, choosing hope. And then my acronym for hope, hold on, pain ends. But for this discussion, hope, have only positive expectation. Coach Michael, how would that change people's lives if they would just have only positive expectations, right?
Shit. A lot.
So I'm going to, as much as I can, instead of saying I, because this is what I go through every day, but instead of me saying I'm going to change it to we, because if you take the word illness, and somebody, by the way, if you're not driving, you probably want to do this. If you write down the word illness, and let me do it real quick. Illness, and then instead of take the I and change it to a we, and now the same word illness now spells wellness. Ooh, come on now. And we got a sick country right now, and everybody's I. But when we start saying we, hello now. So I'm gonna do it for us. Is that okay, Coach?
Go ahead. All you.
Okay. So instead of saying I pray, I'm gonna say we pray, declare and expect to experience marvelous March on purpose. According to 1 Kings 3:12, which says, I've done according to thy word. Job 22:28, thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. Romans 4:17, he calleth those things which be not as though they were. And Mark 11:23, which the last part says, he shall have whatsoever he saith. So I say that March is an incredibly blessed and highly favored month. Every day of March is a blessed day for us. We are walking in the strength of our mighty God, and we anticipate experiencing supernatural peace, joy, and unusual increase. March is a month of great love, great freedom, great grace, great power, great favor, awesome opportunities, wisdom, and illumination. We believe and receive miracles. We expect and shall experience financial breakthroughs. March brings great health, breakthrough wisdom, and enduring wealth. By faith, we activate our anointed, blessed consciousness. So because of the blood of the Lord, we are increasing and breaking through every barrier that tries to hinder us, because our barriers were not made to stop us. Our barriers were made to be broken. We hear and heed the voice of God clearly while speaking his word with power, clarity, and unbridled authority. We continually thank and praise our mighty God, because no weapon that's formed against us, formed against our families, formed against our business can prosper. Here and now, we dismantle any weapon that we may have unwittingly formed against ourselves by our talk or our thoughts. We are prospering. We are an overcomer. And we are experiencing divine supernatural increase. New discoveries spring forth for us in this incredibly blessed month. Our God is raising up powerful people in prominent places that will use their power, wealth, and influence to empower us to achieve his purpose in our life. So we anticipate receiving this or more by the end of March or sooner. Amen and amen. And then my March, manifesting abundant riches, choosing hope. That last letter H, you can say manifesting abundant riches, choosing humility, harmony, holiness, happiness, honesty, or health. You just pick whichever one works for you, my friend, and may that be a blessing to you. Do y'all receive that being spoken over you today? You got enough people speaking negatively over you and speaking all this stuff. No, we need some people speaking positive over us, and then we need to learn to speak positivity over ourselves.
Correct.
Well, that's my third time doing that today.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, people need how much they speak negative towards themselves. It's like, you're not supposed to be negative towards anybody else, much less yourself. You're the person that you're supposed to be your biggest fan.
Right.
You got to learn to be your biggest fan.
If the average person could listen to what they say to and about themselves, if an outside person tried to talk to you and about you like that, you say, I won't spend any more time with them. And that's why people have. And so they say, again, the research that I did in my book, 83% of self-talk is negative. Think about that. 83% is negative. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Les Brown wrote the foreword to this one. Now, Myron Golden wrote the foreword to this one, Kingdompreneur, Business God's Way. But so they say it takes, get this now, this is what's crazy. It takes 16 positive comments to offset one negative comment. That just puts it back at zero. And the 17th positive comment now puts you into the positivity. Think about that. For every one negative, it takes 16 positives to neutralize it and 17 now to make you on that. And so hopefully we said enough positive stuff. People going to be buzzing, man. Well, hey, one guy said to me, he said, man, you're like a cup of energy drink for the brain, man. I love listening to you.
That's what it should be. Everybody's life should be like that.
Exactly.
Somebody told me like the other day when you talked about, you got to tell you something different, like when you have a pain or when I'm sick. Like I said, like when I probably had way more than 47 blood clots in my lungs, but I just like, man, I got a growing pain, But, somebody said, you got to listen to your body. And I'm like, but this is the way it is.
My body got to listen to me.
Exactly. You live in pain. I live in pain all day long. But the thing is, you got to train your mind and train your body to say, hey, look, my body's in pain all day long. Everybody is. But don't give me that pain real bad and go over my mind unless it's important. Other than that, keep that crap over there. I got it under control.
Well, in the martial arts, they taught us something very valuable. And that is this. They said, if while you practice, you don't want to quit, you haven't really practiced. Mm-hmm. Like, what? So, yeah, in other words, I say, you got to work out till your body says, I'm done. But the will says, no, you keep going. So if while you practice, you don't want to quit, you haven't really practiced. They asked Muhammad Ali, they said, how many push-ups do you do? He said, I don't know. I don't even start counting until they hurt. Exactly. Which, by the way, he said one of the most powerful things. And two things. One, he said this. He said he would wake up every morning at 4 o'clock, 5, go running and jogging and so forth. And somebody said, did you enjoy waking up early in the morning? He said, no. He said, I hated every moment of it. But I would say to myself, suffer now and live the rest of your life a champion. And so I just redid it. And so I tell people it's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy in the right cat while you're on your way to being your own authentic cat. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you got to put your own rims on it, because sometimes, like in Louisiana, they only buy it for the rims, your rims, right? But anyway, so but watch this though. So here's the way I did it. I reworked it and put the Dr. Breakthrough spin on it. And so when I'm working like this morning, I already did 5 miles this morning, 11,000 steps. But here's when I'm out, I say this to myself: suffer now and live the rest of the day a champion, and then wake up tomorrow and do it all over again, because success can never be owned. It can only be rented, and the rent is due every single day, right? Yeah. So again, I said it earlier, discipline, self-discipline, it makes it the day harder, but things later on get easier. Excuses and limiting beliefs make today easier, but tomorrow and the days it gets harder. And so we have to, now there are some times when, again, you got to listen to your body. I understand what people mean by that, but too many people but you actually can tell. Like I got a training called tell your feelings how to feel. Like I tell myself how to feel. Like every day, I feel great. I feel done. People say, "Do you always feel that way?" No, but the more I say it, the more I feel like it. But if I don't say it, and I'm listening, like I never forget, it went without sleep. Had something, and I was working on this thing, but I was talking to myself, "I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay." Right? And somebody said, "Hey, Doc, are you okay? You looking a little tired." And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm fine. I'm fine." Somebody else, "Doc, you okay? You look a little tired." Hey, after a while, I was like, "Oh man, I need a bed," right? What happened? I let that sink in, right? And so again, so I have to learn to speak. So yeah, there's times when you got to listen to your body, because I used to travel 320 days a year. I thought I was going to save the world overnight by myself. I grew up hearing black men are lazy and preachers are lazy. And I'm like, I'm black and I'm a preacher. So I got it double. And so I'm going to have to prove, when you're trying to prove something, you're not really, flowing and so forth and hearing the voice of God. But at any rate, so I was traveling 320 days a year. And think about this. And so when I speak in churches, I mean, I sweat, man, all the way down to my socks. I'm earning my keep, right?
That's
And
me too.
plus, I always do these demonstrations, so I'm breaking boards and bricks and laying on a razor sharp bed of nails, putting 150 pounds of bricks on my stomach. The guy takes a 20-pound sledgehammer, breaks the bricks off my stomach while I'm laying on the nails. I get up off the nails, and they're like, "Anything you say, preacher." But what I'm saying, but that takes a lot out of you, the physical, just a lot of physicality, right? And then they get me in a lot of schools, and so in the morning I would do presentation in schools and one day I did five demonstrations and spoke 5 times. So 8 o'clock they had me in one school. By 9 o'clock they got me to another one. But
Jeez.
So and I was living off 3 hours sleep. I started living off 3 hours sleep when I was in college. I worked 2 jobs. It's so funny. I heard somebody say I worked a full-time job and took a full-time load. I'm thinking that's impossible. How could you do that? Well, I had a full-time job and 2 part-time jobs and a full-time load, right? Sometimes you just do what you have to do. But again, you got to talk to yourself. But then I was traveling 320 and my body kept telling something was wrong, but I kept thinking I'm just going to push through that. And I end up one day collapsing, and I woke up with a doctor looking at me. Now, wait a minute. The week before, I'm putting my hand through 22 inches of cement block on fire, and here it is the next week, I can't even get up out of bed by myself. That got my attention. The week before, like I said, I'm laying on a bed of nails and they put the bricks in my stomach and break it off. This next week, I can't even go to the bathroom by myself. So that got my attention. And basically, I had exhausted my adrenal glands. And a guy taught me and showed me that. He said, and I had a perfect V cut, right, back then. And so now my 6-pack turned into a keg of steel. The wife out there was punching on me. I was like, yeah, the 6-pack is gone, but it's still steel, baby. Come on now. But anyway, by the way, I've been hit over 1 million times in the stomach without ever being hurt. Punches, kicks, and I've had people, martial artists, actually do spinning kicks, hit me and fall on the ground because the force pushes them back. But at any rate, I say all that to say, so I'm getting a lot of energy out. 320 days a year, 3 hours sleep a night. Guy said, "Man, you exhausted your adrenal glands," and said you can't, especially not getting sleep. He said even though you were eating healthy,
Oh man, you said that.
you didn't get enough sleep, so your body could take those nutrients and send it to different places. So it's like putting your car in a shop and pulling it back out before the mechanic could even fix it, right?
Can't be said that.
Anyway, and so I'll make a long story short. Now I get more sleep these days and so forth. But
I say a lot of sleep.
Yeah, so there are some times you really need to listen to your body, because I didn't listen, and it kept giving me signals. But the thing though is you can actually start training your brain and your body again to listen. The will makes the body listen to it and say, "You're going to keep on going. You're going to keep on going," and we'll get you rested afterwards, right? We'll get you but right now we're doing this, right? And so. But that's what true champions do, and it's all about this discipline. And sometimes you really have to, especially as an entrepreneur, right? There's days where I'm like, "Well, I say you come to bed? Nope, I'm be up all night. I got to get this." But baby, that's not really help. No, I'll tomorrow night I'll get some sleep. But right now, not this one. And true entrepreneurs, and I'm a kingdompreneur, but we do things. We have times like that. But you know what? But then I learned to take vacations now. And as a matter of fact, like you said, people that stay to the end, we got something for them, right?
It's like you say, you got to touch on that. You got to get sleep, man. Oh God, I get this argument all the time. Like, look, I don't need sleep. Okay, I'm good. I get it when I get it. I'll go eat. If I sleep 10 hours, I'm exhausted the next day. But if I sleep 8 hours, I'm good. Like I don't need but 2 hours sleep the next day. And it's like I can get in bed and lay there. It's like, well, this is gonna. You need sleep. I'm like, look. One thing is I have adrenaline disorder, so it's hard to go to sleep. If I take anything, it's gonna knock it out. So when I need sleep, I go get sleep. When I'm good, I'm good. I'm not gonna make myself. I'm not gonna go take something and put myself into a coma. But never.
Well, and also taking a little power nap, 10, 15 minutes throughout the day. If I would have just done something like that, that'd have made a big difference. Also,
somebody told me I need to start doing that because somebody said, take a little power. But I'm scared if I take a power nap, I'm gonna go to sleep and wake up exhausted.
No, sir.
That's my worry.
Your body is fearfully and wonderfully made. It'll, trust me, bro. You don't want to wake up with a doctor looking at you.
Hey, I've been there a lot of times.
If we don't do something properly, it becomes abuse, right? And so I abused my temple, my body, and that scripture says, "He maketh me to lie down in green pastures." I found out what he meant by that. He maketh me. The body said, "Okay, you're not gonna stop. We're gonna make you. We give you all kind of signals, and you just wouldn't listen." Okay, and so now I'm a proponent. It's kind of like the race car going around, and I was like, "Mom, why does that race car stop in at the pit stop? He's getting behind." She said, "Boy, if you don't make that stop every once in a while, he's gonna end up blowing the engine." So so having that little pit stop, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's just a little break and just to get away from stuff, to get away from a lot of electric stuff, turn stuff, and just close your eyes and just meditate for a couple of minutes. That'll even help and make a big difference.
See, I didn't even realize.
We covered all kind of stuff, didn't we?
You're talking about like the electric stuff. I didn't realize like that. Like here, not right around the corner in New Orleans, Dr. Tulane and Dr. Loyola, they came up with the blue light thing for screens, and that was part of back in the day to mind control people. That was part of the CIA's whole thing. They came up with this blue light freaking thing and screens and words and lights to put stuff in that. I didn't even realize that. I'm like, what the heck, really? It's all the way back then. They're still doing it today.
By the way, I take something called magnesium. And I've got a company I work that speak for. They get, man, that stuff will really relaxes me also and helps you sleep better. My wife used to have some issues with sleep and she started taking it. But magnesium also is great for the heart and relaxing the muscle. But she would get a lot of leg cramps and stuff like that. But sometimes in our diet, there's things that we aren't eating, getting enough, variety of and missing some things. But, again, if we just think about it like our car, it's like, look, if you need to get your oil changed, you get it changed. If you don't, something's going to happen, right? I was driving out, a guy picked me up. We were going somewhere, and I said, "Hey, bro, don't you need to get some gas?" He said, "Oh, it runs just as good on this end as it does the other end." And I said, "Yeah, but it won't run as long." I said, "Bro, look, I'll pay for the gas. Pull over, man. Let's get some gasoline, right?" And
you don't need
another thing, though, is if you let it get low enough, I found out that dirt will clog in your filter, right? Fuel filter, so forth. And so if we do that with our cars, why not just make sure we take care of our bodies, but also that mind? And again, the breakthrough occurs when you beat the bullies on the brain. But hey, man, it's been great, man. Working with you, flowing with you. You the brother like no other. You the master that helps turn around people's disaster. You too strong to be weak. You too sweet to be sour. You can't take credit. It's all God's power. Coach Michael.
Like you just said, look, one little last thing. Like you just said, the mind and the physical. I just posted something on that. If you thought that you can't train your mind to be great and be out of shape, not eating good, not exercising, because it just doesn't go hand in hand.
Right. Well, that's like you can have $1 million ideal and a minimum wage work ethic. Right. I mean, you can, but it's just going to frustrate you.
Exactly. A broke mindset stays a broke mindset.
There you go.
Now let's tell people how to get that.
There's a difference between being broke and poor. Poor is a state of mind. Broke's a temporary inconvenience. The average millionaire is broke 2.5 times, right? And I can testify. But anyway, poor, P-O-O-R, passing over opportunities repeatedly. That's a state of mind. Poor, my acronym, P-O-O-R, putting obstacles over riches. The only difference between a rich man and a poor man, a rich woman, a poor woman, one came to an obstacle and said, "It's too big, it's too hard, I can't do it." And the other one said, "I'm going over it, I'm going around it, I'm going under it, or I'm going to learn from Dr. Breakthrough and break right through it."
Exactly. Now let's tell people how to get that trip if they're on here. Hold on, I'm supposed to do a question. Let me see if somebody's asking any questions on here.
Okay. All righty.
If anybody's got any questions on Facebook. Let's see.
While you're doing that, everybody that stays to the end, we're giving you a complimentary 8-day, 7-night vacation, up to 3,000 different locations to choose from. All you do is pay a one-time $20 activation fee. It'll be good from 12 months to 18 months, and you just pay the taxes. I mean, if you go on Oprah Winfrey show and win a car, you got to pay the taxes. I've never played the lottery, but if you win the lottery, you got to pay the taxes, right? So you just pay the taxes. So I got one family, they went to the Bahamas, and they checked with some other folks. People paid, it was a 5-star resort. They paid $6,000. This couple, because of this complimentary vacation voucher, when they paid their $20 activation fee, $350 of taxes. Now they opted to get the extra insurance. It was extra $50. So it was like 400 something bucks altogether. Add that in. But anyway, they were there, and they're like, man, I can't believe this. So again, for everybody that stays, I just need your name, your email address, and the phone number, and we'll get that complimentary vacation voucher. There's no timeshare presentation to watch, and these are all 4- and 5-star resorts, valued at between $3,000 to $6,000. Coach Michael and I, our gift to you, again, if you stay to the very, very, very end. So again, we're going to need your name, your email address, and your phone number, first, last name, email address, phone number, and we'll get that complimentary certificate to you ASAP.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been great having you on.
Hey, yeah, and everybody watching, if you've got a podcast or a television show, or you pastor a church, man, I love preaching in churches. I love speaking on Zooms. I just love, matter of fact, when I'm done, my wife's going to say, baby, how did your therapy session go? Because when I'm pouring out and empowering people, to me, it's like therapy, man. Just, you know what I mean? So, but anybody wants to, you can email me at drstan@drbreakthrough.com, just drstan@drbreakthrough.com. And by the way, my normal site is just drbreakthrough.com, BREAK through THROUGH.com. And again, we just love empowering people. And so thank you, Coach Michael, for having me on today. And we look forward to doing great things together and collaborating.
I'm gonna put all his information in when I'm gonna be posting the recording of this, and all your information. So anything, all the trip stuff, all that stuff in there. Great having you.
Well, thank you.
So next time I'm gonna have you on again. Gotta do this again.
All right, man. If you're waiting on me, you're late. Just give me a shout.
Exactly.
All right, buddy.
See you.